Hi guys, welcome to the 12th episode of Scorecaps, podcast where we discuss frontend, backend, UX UI design, basically everything around technology. Today, along with Wojciech, who is a tech lead at Score, we are going to discuss the very interesting topic of machine learning. Hi Wojciech.
Hey, hello.
Great to have you here again.
Yeah, thanks for invitation.
So since this is not our first meeting, but some of the people may see us for the first time, why don't you tell us about who you are, what do you do, what's your area?
I'm technical leader here at Score, Score Digital, and my specialty is PHP language.
Okay, so something that for many people is, let's say, being seen or interpreted as a thing of the past, right?
Yeah, that's true. I heard it many times. And, 10 years ago when I started to work with PHP, many people asked me, why you are doing this, right? Why PHP? It will be dead in 2 years. And 10 years later, I'm still here, right? So.
Yeah. And to add to that, probably around half of the internet is like still on PHP, based on PHP.
Yeah, more than half. People think that PHP is a language for simple websites. It was created just for that, right? But right now, each new version gives us something new, something better. It's faster, better. And PHP can be used to create really advanced software right now.
Okay, so I think that we are slowly getting into the topic of today's episodes because I would like to, talk to you about machine learning and what is it, how you can start with it, what is machine learning in the context of PHP. But maybe let's start with the bottom line, with the definitions. So if I were a person totally from outside the industry, not knowing anything about programming, how would you describe to me PHP? Sorry, machine learning.
Machine learning, yeah. So learning is a kind of artificial intelligence. Probably you saw some movies with AI, right?
One or two.
Yeah. So machine learning is a combination of methods borrowed from different areas like mathematics, statistics, even neuroscience. And it's a kind of programming when you are not program rules inside your software, but those rules are created based on input data. So software which learns from data, right?
Okay.
To improve whole algorithm or something.
Okay, so on the basis of the data that we are feeding the, let's say, algorithm with, it learns gradually over time and
create the rules how it should work.
Okay, so that sounds advanced.
Yeah, it is.
But PHP is a thing of the past. So how do we marry those two together?
As I said, PHP can be used for many things, not just simple websites, right? And everything depends on libraries which you can use. There are a couple libraries created in PHP which can be used especially for machine learning. It's called, let's say, Rubik's machine learning, right?
Okay.
So it's a library which allows you to use many different kinds of algorithms for machine learning, for artificial intelligence.
Okay, and how this can, maybe let me rephrase. What kind of businesses or what kind of industries can benefit from machine learning in PHP, for example?
In my opinion, all of them.
Okay.
Let's imagine that, I don't know, you have some kind of online shop, right? And you would like to predict trends.
Sure.
What you should have, right? Or what is the best selling item, right? You can predict it using PHP. There are a lot of tools to create that online shop with PHP, right? So we have data in PHP. You have your team, which specialize in PHP, right? So why I should look for different developer from different language? I have my own team with PHP specialization, right? So let's ask them to do something, right?
Okay. So in this, let's stick to the e-commerce example. So we have, for example, let's say that I'm selling nice furry birds, dogs, and all of those things that sell well right around the Christmas, right? So I'm selling toys for kids of different kinds, and what do I need to put? What kind of data do I need to have in order to start my machine learning, let's say, journey within the company to predict what will be selling good, better, and so on?
You should have huge knowledge base, right? Okay. So from your past, I don't know, it will not work if you have data from last week, right? It will not allow you to predict next year trends for something, right? But you know, when we are building our model, right, for machine learning, we need to have huge amount of data. More means better, right?
Okay.
So you should have data about your selling from last, I don't know, year, two. Depends how accurate this model should be, right? So everything selling, what items, how many people bought it, and everything what is related to
The
that.
more detailed, the better. So the age groups, the model of a certain item, the time that it was being sold, like the month, the date, the time of day, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's say that I have this data. I assume that this data needs to be structured in a proper way.
Yes, you know, there is whole life cycle of machine learning, right? So data preparation, right? Then we need to create hypothesis and model that. We need to choose proper algorithm which we want to use. We need to check those data, right? Then we should observe how our model behaves, right? If it's
on a smaller chunk.
Yeah. Let's say smaller chunk, and then improve it, right? So then we have something which is called optimization of that model, right? So I think that it takes time to learn our model how it should behave, right? So we are using the smallest, maybe not the smallest, but smaller portion of our data to check it, right? So then we are checking if it's accurate. If not, optimize it, right? And then change data if there is need, right? And then whole life cycle is, begin from beginning, right?
Okay, so we are in an e-commerce world. I would like to predict my sales for the next Christmas, right? But let's say I'm running my e-commerce shop for like 5 years now, so I have a lot of data. I'm growing 100% year to year, so a lot of sales, things are happening. So I'm starting to prepare that right now. Where do I start from a business perspective? Like, I have no idea how to do that, right? Let's say that I don't know if I should analyze the time of day or maybe a particular item, right? I don't know how to structure the model. How do you start with the process? You need to have a workshop, a conversation, a brainstorm around the topic.
Yes, that's the first thing, but probably you need to find the person who knows how to do this, right? It's not just for people who, it's not for people who don't know what is it, right? Okay, I have an idea, right? So I would like to find trends or check my sales, whatever. But find a guy who knows, who did it a couple times, right?
So there's someone who knows their way around data.
Yes, some kind of data analysis or someone like this.
Okay. And once the concept of the model is implemented, we are starting to building the model. So we take the library that you've mentioned at the very beginning, and we start with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do we, like, what is because you mentioned the life cycle, so what would be the perfect process around that? So like, we are doing this for a week, 2 weeks, and then remodel or implement another rule, or like, how do you usually go about that kind of stuff?
will not take 2 weeks or something to check your model, right? But because we are working on a small portion, we can adjust this pretty fast, right?
Okay.
So we are checking with small portion, then we are increase that portion of data to check it again, optimize, and again and again. You know, sometimes learning for model will take, I don't know, 2 minutes, sometimes 20 hours. So you know, you need to have also nice hardware to do it, right? Because memory consumption, CPU consumption, everything what is heavy, right, will overload your hardware also.
Okay. And I assume that the more data, the better the hardware must be.
To be honest, I checked many different algorithms, and depends on the algorithm and how we adjust our model, right? We are using this algorithm. This algorithm is pretty heavy, right? So it will take more memory, even for, I don't know, 100 records of data, and it will take the same memory for 100,000 of data, but the time will increase, right?
Okay. Did it ever happen to you that you've overdone it? So it was too complicated for the hardware that you were using?
Yes, but because I used also other tools, so which took memory of my computer. I have 24 gigabytes of RAM,
Okay.
and it took everything.
Okay.
So I needed to adjust model, and it took 10 gigabytes of RAM. So I still had 14, right, for something else. But it was for image prediction, to categorize recognition, not prediction. I was working on image recognition.
That's a very interesting topic because image recognition is also because when, like I think many people when they think about data in general, it's like the first thing that pops into your mind is like an Excel sheet with columns and numbers and okay comparisons. For me, like I'm already sweating because I had math, so for me numbers are not very friendly. But image recognition is, I think, a different area where you also analyze data, but in a different format, right?
Yes. It's a different format. You know, you can analyze everything, right? Not only numbers, like spreadsheet with numbers, right? Selling, whatever. But you can analyze and recognize images. You can analyze text to find something interesting there. You know, those models will work on actually numbers. So we need to change or text or image to number representation of that thing, image, text, row in a spreadsheet, right?
Okay. But in general, I would assume that whatever the scenario is in which we have the input data to analyze, we can utilize the power of machine learning, right?
Yes.
What if you have, for example, huge amounts of data to analyze? Is there a way to enhance that kind of a model that you would normally use? I mean, on your computer, on your hardware, like can you enhance this somehow with the tools that are available?
Yes, they are. There, of course, AWS has many different services which we can use for machine learning, for artificial intelligence. There is something, you know, there is something which is called SageMaker. This whole huge tool for just for machine learning AI, right? But we have many services for many different things. For trends, we have trends. For I don't know, for text analysis, we have AWS Comprehend. We have for image and video analysis, we have something which is called AWS Recognition. We have even fraud detector in AWS, right? So we can use you know, power of cloud to not overload our own system, but you know, pay them for that, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, I think that these, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that these services are also more advanced because they've already learned a thing or two.
Yes, 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 yes. They are more advanced, but we can create our own model there also. So not only ready-to-use tool, but we can create whole pipeline of or how to create our model there.
Okay, and I assume that this is also a faster scenario in many cases,
Not
or
really.
you wouldn't say?
Not really. I was testing comprehend for text analysis, actually to categorize text based on text, right? So I don't know. I was working on tags, so find tags based on description of product, right? So it's another scenario which we can use on our page, right? We have e-commerce. Let's put description, and system can tell us which tag should be there, right? For better searching for something.
To analyze your competition with that kind of tool?
Of course.
So, for example, I run the e-commerce and I'm selling those very nice furry toys, and I would like to analyze all of the toys market uh, within my country, for example, and their descriptions. What kind of keywords do they have? What kind of metadata they are using, and so on and so forth. We could create a tool that would analyze all that data and present us with information of how we should improve.
Yes.
Awesome. That sounds really.
It's possible.
Yeah,
Of course, we can do many things. Let's say, I don't know. Let's imagine that you have a contact form on the page, right? And you have CAPTCHA there, right?
Yeah,
I hate it.
I
To be honest.
hate capture.
To find
But they
traffic
got
lights.
but they got better. But they got better because the ones with traffic lights or find a boat, find a bike are better than. Do you remember those devilish numbers?
Yes.
When you never ever could recognize
For the first time.
if this is the 0 or the 1. They were on each other, and I was like, sometimes I was putting this for like 4 or 5 times because I couldn't recognize the image myself.
I have the same with when I try to log into AWS console. There is those devil's numbers, but they have also, thanks God, they have also there is possibility to run a voice there, so you can hear what numbers are there and
Oh, so that's good. That's good. One.
yeah. So let's imagine that you don't need to have this captcha because system will recognize if it's a spam or not. If it's a, you know, if there is some value if that in that message, or just a spam created by robots.
Okay. And how would you recognize if I'm not a robot without me solving a puzzle, putting out the number?
Based on text. Let's say that, yeah, you have this contact form and you are getting a lot of messages. Okay, man, I would like to talk with you about something, right? Can you contact with me? It's not a spam. But spam message like, do you want to buy a boat? Contact us, right? Or something. It's a spam.
Okay.
And we can use some data to feed our algorithm to recognize those messages, right?
Okay, so let's follow that lead. Let's say that uh, algorithm is wrong. So let's say that it makes at some point in time a decision to classify a message as a spam, which was not a spam. It was just written by, I don't know, all due respect to all lawyers, but by a lawyer who's writing in a very official tone, and they wrote a message that they would like to, get in touch with us, build an app, for example, right? And all of a sudden they're like, okay, this is a spam. Like algorithm classifies this as a spam.
You need to check that as usual in your email inbox, right?
Okay, so we can just like gradually also improve manually our algorithm. It's not like it's doomed to.
Yeah, no, mark this message as not a spam, and of course our model will be changed, and in some point of time after
Couple of changes,
after improvements, it will start to recognize those lawyers' messages as a not spam, right?
Okay. So, because I'm wondering, in the context of what we are talking about, it does not sound like maybe not like a normal thing to do, but like the usual thing to do to utilize machine learning by a person who's specialized in PHP, right? What was your first like interaction with machine learning in general? How did you come by to see that, to learn that, and to think, well, okay, let's use this?
Yeah, so one day my client came to me and asked me, okay, Wojtek, I have huge database, right, with some informations about people, and we need to check what is their profession based on biography or something like this, right? And we are doing it manually. And let's imagine 500,000 of records. Check, read that bio, and check profession, right? So it takes us a lot of time. Can you help us? And yeah, why not? I started to dig in Wikipedia and any other, available places where I can find something about algorithms like this. And I found method how to do this. I also, I graduated University of Science and Technology in Applied IT faculty. So I had AI on my studies, right?
Yeah.
So I remembered that, okay, there is algorithm for something like this. Let's use it. And I created it in pure PHP. So yeah, I check algorithm. I created that algorithm as a class in PHP, and it worked with accuracy around 85, 90%, right? So yeah, that's how I started
That was
looking at that.
the beginning. And how have you came across those libraries that you mentioned? Was that like you needed to do something more advanced, or it was just
No, man,
research exploring for your own?
research. I was looking for something more accurate, so I was checking them. After first algorithm, I created second one, slower but with better accuracy, more than 92, 93%, right?
Yeah.
So then,
That's a very good accuracy, I would
yeah,
say.
then I thought that, okay, there should be something which will help me, right? That I will not create each algorithm separately to check it, right? And then based on my research, I found not one but two libraries. One is not uh, right now, they are not working on that. But I found better one for that with many different algorithms. As I said, Rubik's ML.
Okay. And then AWS, I assume, just was another
And
step
yes,
in the way
yes,
to make your life easier.
true.
I think this is the true about our industry, right? That if you think about something, probably someone have thought about it already, and
Yes,
maybe there's something that's already done you can utilize for
true.
your own needs.
But sometimes, when I started a couple of years ago, there was nothing, almost nothing, right? There was one library for PHP because no one was thinking about PHP for machine learning, right? Because it was slower than right now. There was no, I don't know, multi-threads or something like this. To create that, there was a lot of sweat to create something like this. Right now, those days, is much easier.
Do you think that in the context of what you said about PHP and how it advanced, do you think that there are some limitations as to using this particular technology in comparison to others, like for example Python, to utilize the power of machine learning? Like, are there
Probably, yeah.
situations?
Probably, yeah. No one will predict how, I don't know, black hole will collapse with PHP, right? Totally different language, probably totally different hardware. Uh, you know, Something which is really heavy. Python, whatever, Java. Those are languages which are compiled, and you are using it for heavy calculation or something like this. I'm talking about using PHP, machine learning in PHP for your industry in the internet, right? So you can use it to create some nice features, something which will help you with your data, something which will help you to, I don't know, categorize your things in your database automatically based on some samples, right? Not for, probably no one will use PHP on some university to predict how part of metal will behave on the pressure or something like this. Totally different things, right? But for IT industry in the internet, right? It will work in my opinion.
So pretty much probably most of the business scenarios that an average small and medium enterprise can encounter within their own like day-to-day operations.
Yes.
Awesome. Are there any particular interesting scenarios that you think are worth exploring that hasn't been explored yet, or you haven't heard about them? Because when you are working with a certain piece of technology, ideas comes to your mind, right? And we all like WinScore have dozens of ideas to build the product or build the tool to make our lives easier. Have you had, of course, if you can disclose, maybe it's a secret, any kind of ideas as to how else can be utilized, or why haven't this industry thought about utilizing because of XYZ, something like that?
To be honest, I didn't think about this.
Yeah.
I have a couple ideas in back of my head, right, for using machine learning for something, but it's too early to say about this. I'm still checking if
This applies.
yeah, if it will work or, oh no.
Sure. Okay, so I think that we've covered a lot of things around machine learning. It was great talking to you, and I hope that soon we'll have the opportunity to cover additional topic again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thanks for being here, Wojciech.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. That was another episode, another topic. If you like what you are seeing at the Score Couch, hit subscribe, comment, hit the thumb up, and let us know what would you like to see in the upcoming episodes. Thanks for watching once again, and see you soon.